If there's one thing that has been kind of quietly or loudly taking over the world at this point, it is horse girls, and typically in the form of anime horse girls. The chaotic history of the horse game that took over the world. Umamusume Pretty Derby. This is a Mugen video, and you know I absolutely love Mugen's videos, bro. Mugen is the GOAT. So let's take a look and see what is going on with the horse girls taking over.
Meet Jiankui He, a Chinese scientist who had created a genetically modified baby, breaking every ethical law
Okay, I wanted to make sure I actually heard that correctly. He did what?
regarding genetic research and being sentenced to jail for 3 years back in 2019.
Guys, did he title the video incorrectly?
After being released, he would somewhat disappear for a while until he got access to social media, most namely Twitter.
Okay.
And in classic supervillain fashion, he would tweet out, "Every pioneer or prophet must suffer while staring intently at the camera."
That was like a serial killer, bro.
All while continuing his genetic research like nothing had happened. This would, of course, make him go viral, but what were people's reactions here? Were they shocked? Were they outraged? Were they scared?
Were they fully in support?
No, they kept spamming him, pestering him even,
Okay.
with one request.
Do not tell me they're begging him to play Umamusume.
Eventually, there will be so many people requesting the same thing that he had to make an entire post responding to it, saying, "Stop asking for cat girls. I'm trying to cure disease."
There is no shot. There is no shot.
This dude was sentenced to jail for creating genetically modified babies and forging the ethical paperwork. But
Bro, this is a questionable statement that I'm about to say right now. Okay, just as a heads up, this is not defamation. I don't know if this is true, but I did hear that when I was in the UK, that KFC were genetically modifying their chickens to develop more than 2 wings so that they could get more chicken out of the chicken to cook and eat. Like, the world is a weird place, bro, because even if it's not true, who the fuck came up with that? Who thinks of this shit?
the only thing people were concerned with was cat girls. Yeah, I mean, it comes as no surprise, guys. Anime girls have taken over the world. But look, if the movie Ratatouille has taught me anything in life, it's that things are better when combined together. And so some of the most intelligent people on planet Earth saw cats and thought, wow, this is really cute and adorable, like anime girls. Why don't we combine them and create cat girls?
Has anyone ever done that with something like that is arguably even cuter than cats? Like, it's tough because not a lot of things are. But like, has anyone ever done it with like axolotls? Just for is there axolotl girls? Because that could be kind of cute too, right?
The result? A massive success. This, of course, made even more people think, until a particular group of people...
How do a lot of y'all know that there's axolotl girls, by the way? Why is there so many just straight up confirmations in the chat?
...came up with a very interesting idea. They thought, well, look, humans love cats, right? I'm sure they love dogs too, but what's one animal that's been with us since the beginning? An animal humans share a very important bond with.
Horses.
Horses. So listen to this
But can we keep it a buck? Like, can we... Oh, dear God. Can I keep it 100% real with you guys? Horses are cute. Like, from a distance. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just keep it entirely real. I don't look at this like if I cover up everything else other than the neck and head, I look at this and I think, Jesus Christ, that looks pretty fucking cursed, to be completely honest with you. They're adorable animals, they are, but physically, like, I don't look at it. My first look at this is not, that's so cute. It's just not. I've ridden a horse before, yeah.
Genius idea, right? What if we took anime girls and gave them horse ears and horse tails? Then we would put all these cute anime horse girls together on a track and have them race just like horses do during horse races. But get this, okay? Things don't end here, because these horse girls are living a double life. When they're not racing on the horse track, they're idols, dancing and singing in top-tier performances to a massive audience.
And making an absolute boatload of money in the real world.
Sounds absolutely insane, right? I mean, seriously, horse girls, anime horse girls racing on a track. You've got to be shitting me, man.
Yep.
The concept of gacha games is already niche. And horse girls in a gacha game, you won't find anyone to play this.
Yeah.
Nope, I was severely wrong. Look at this chart.
I'll keep it a butt, dude. I thought it'd be more. Wait. This is probably just global, actually, isn't it? This isn't. This probably isn't including Japan because they have their own launcher, I think.
Just on Steam with a peak of.
In fact, I'm pretty sure even global has its own launcher and not only Steam.
87,000 people playing at the same time. That's not all though. The game hasn't even been out for 1 month globally and has already reached over 1 million downloads on the Google Play Store. Still not surprised? The game has gotten so popular on Steam that it has beaten every single game on the platform to claim the #1 spot for most downloaded games in.
Wait, this is also top 100 selling games right now by revenue. So that means, that means Umamusume is making more money than all of these games by paid revenue, not just downloads.
This current period. Now you might be thinking, okay, fine, maybe it's like this mass hysteria going on. Maybe this concept is so ridiculous people downloaded it, but then realized, it's not really for me, right? Look at these.
Even the CS case openings aren't winning.
Reviews, 94% very positive with almost 15,000 reviews on Steam. This game didn't just get downloaded a lot, it's now critically acclaimed. But if you're still somehow not shocked yet, well, get this. Gacha games are typically liked.
What is this image, bro?
By a very specific demographic.
Whoa, Mujin. What the fuck are you trying to say right now?
Young adults who usually love anime.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, never mind. I'm watching you.
It came to this horse girl gacha racing game, though, it reached children, their parents, and their grandparents. Doing the impossible and targeting every single conceivable demographic. Guys,
is that grannies playing Umamusume?
It doesn't matter where you go. The metro, the airport, your office, you will most likely see someone playing this on their phone. I say this with no exaggeration. Umamusume Pretty Derby has taken over the planet. And
Sea Dog's dad plays Umamusume? Are y'all trolling?
I haven't seen a gacha game do this since Genshin Impact back during the pandemic. But if this still doesn't shock you for whatever reason, then get ready to get sucker punched in the face. Because that's exactly what happened to me when I started seeing headlines like this. Umamusume developer Cygames is a title sponsor for Grand Prix de Paris, a prestigious horse racing event founded in 1863. An event being held for almost 2 centuries. And their logo just happens to be on an image of an anime girl that is also a horse. What?
Yeah, that is insane.
What the fuck is going on?
That is
and
insane.
How did we get here? Well,
that's almost reminds me like of it kind of almost equals up to Star Rail sponsoring the Olympics, right?
Well, none of it was straightforward, and this game almost failed to release. Umamusume Pretty Derby has a somewhat chaotic but also very interesting history. And seeing how it's practically dominated the world, I figured we need to talk about it. So let's do this.
Okay, Mujin is French. I think that's a misconception, right? He's lived in France for a while, but I don't think he is actually French, is he?
Man, horses are such silly animals. But you know what other animals I like? Warships, warplanes.
Oh no! Wait, is this gonna be a freaking Blue Protocol sponsor? Is it Blue Protocol, the one with the with warship girls?
And war tanks, baby. And the best part,
that would be such a good sponsor for this video if it's not.
About this is that I can find all these vehicles and 2,500 other variations in War Thunder.
No, it should have been as a lane. It should have been them.
Vehicle combat game, so comprehensive in details that it has over 70 million players on all platforms.
Crazy, but we are going to skip the ad.
Significance of all this, we need context, and in this case, it's going to be a little history lesson, and we're going all the way back to the year 1603. That's beginning a long time. Of the Tokugawa period, otherwise known.
That's almost longer than some of your unks in chat have been around.
As the Edo period. This period would be the most traditional period in Japan, mostly because it would be incredibly isolated from the rest of the world. The people in power at the time feared outside influence. In fact, their biggest fear was Christianity. You'd have missionaries from...
Really? The biggest fear was Christian... I mean, yeah. I can see it.
Countries come in to spread the gospel. and people were converting fast. The Japanese leaders saw this as a way for Europe to slowly take control of Japan, so they took extreme measures.
Fair.
They completely locked down the country except for a select few traders who only had access to specific ports. Japanese people were not allowed to leave Japan, and if they did, they wouldn't be allowed back. And
Jesus. Wow. Kind of sounds like Natland, but for totally different reasons.
more importantly, Christianity was outlawed. The shogunate took extreme measures and massacred over 37,000 Japanese Christians, making it go almost extinct in Japan and ruling for over 2 centuries. This would all change in 1868, when the Tokugawa shogunate would lose its power and the Meiji Restoration would take its place. One could say that this period was the opposite of the Tokugawa shogunate's military rule, completely opening up the country, technologically advancing very quickly, and fully embracing the idea of an industrialized nation that can compete with Europe and North America. That way, they don't face the threat of colonization.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. We're going to get on to Britain now. I do like the history lesson here. I always like to go through in my own head, like when Mujin goes through these history lessons, how the fuck does this line up to anything to do with a horse girl gacha game?
During this new era, you'd start seeing more foreigners in Japan, like British and Americans, specifically around port towns. Their numbers would start becoming significant to the point where they'd start having their own communities built around those port towns.
Okay.
This is where, to kill time, Westerners would start playing the sports they knew, like rugby, cricket, and of course, baseball, which is now the most popular sport in Japan today. But according to the 500-page book titled Routledge Companion to Sports History, which outlines the origins of sports all around the world, horse racing in Japan was introduced as early as 1862 by...
Bro, isn't horse racing like, I think, actually the most popular sport in Japan? I think. I don't think I'm incorrect for saying that. I had absolutely no idea it was as big as it is, by the way. I thought horse racing was huge in the UK, for example, where we have the Grand National. And like every year there's always a huge event for horse racing. Bro, I had no idea it was as big as it is in Japan. Japan takes it so seriously.
Westerners. And within just 8 years, the first jockey club in Kobe was formed in 1870. You see, the Japanese, much like the rest of the world, also had a special connection to horses. They also loved the idea of entertainment. So they latched onto the sport very quickly, as you can see from this old drawing. Japanese people are on their horses about to race, but the people organizing it can be seen on the left here. And they're foreigners, they're Westerners.
True.
Today, it's seen as a prestigious sport, with the Japan Cup having some of the highest prize pools on the planet, and the Japanese taking the sport very seriously, wanting to compete on even footing with foreign horses.
Is it also true that hey, this is for the horse racing enthusiasts in the chat, because I deadass have no idea. But I heard, because my granddad is really into horse racing. Is it true that jockeys are like at an advantage if they're short, or just the fact that like jockeys are typically short, like they're small people? Yes. Interesting. Is it just because of like a weight distribution thing, or what? What is the science behind that? They're small, so less weight. Yeah, it is. That is why. Interesting.
Sport very seriously, wanting to compete on even footing with foreign horses. Right now, the prize pool for the Japan Cup is about $8.3 million, with first place claiming $3.8 million. And even though horse racing was seen as such an important sport in Japan, there was a problem. Interest was
that's insane money.
Kind of waning. When you go to a horse track, you'd mostly see men who are in the older demographics. You wouldn't see teenagers, young adults, kids, or even women that much. In a way, if things kept going this way, then the sport would have probably died out in a couple of generations.
True.
It was simply seen as too old-fashioned. But all of this would change when a particular studio came up with a ridiculous idea. An idea, actually, that almost ruined their company's reputation and potentially could have bankrupted them.
Wait,
I'm of course talking about Umamusume.
Did they really take like one of the biggest risks in gacha gaming history by trying to monopolize the, well, not monopolize, but I guess popularize the like horse racing stuff in a gacha game for the first time with like anime girls? Who would have thought? Well, I didn't think it'd be that controversial of a thing to do. Why would it be? Was like the government scared that maybe the people that were spending money on horse racing instead would spend money on gacha horse racing?
derby.
Instead of real horse
Cyber
racing?
Agent is a Japanese
Maybe?
company that was founded in 1998. They started out as a digital advertising company, but in 2011, they decided to expand in the
Guys, for those of you that don't want to see ads, you can either wait for the YouTube video or go watch on Kick, !Kick.
ever-growing video game market. This is when they would create Cygames, a
Okay.
video game development studio. Cyber Agent would own the majority of the shares of Cygames, but sell a few to other companies, like for example, Nintendo, who owns 5% of Cygames. They would go on to create some
Interesting.
pretty well-received games, like Shadowverse, a digital collectible card game, and of course,
Never heard
Grand
of it.
Blue Fantasy, which was
Heard of Grand Blue Fantasy, but only recently heard about how bad some of the practices were in Grand Blue Fantasy. That was the game that had really bad gacha practices, right? Or not? In that one video we watched, or was that something totally different?
critically acclaimed. But arguably, Cygames' most important game would end up being one of the first ones they'd ever
is.
release in 2011, titled The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls.
Cinderella
This game would be a
Girls.
part of the massive franchise known as The Idolmaster, owned by Bandai Namco, with the first ever game coming out in 2005.
Okay.
Many games for this franchise would release, and in 2011, that's when Cygames would release The Idolmaster.
Holy fuck, hold on. Why do you need this many games, bro? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is insane.
Games for this
That is
franchise would
insane.
release, and in 2011, that's when Cygames would release The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. They made
Jesus.
this on behalf of Bandai Namco. What was special about this game is that it was made for mobile phones back in 2011. Namco was seeing the rise of mobile games, and so that's when they asked Cygames to help.
Okay.
The premise was simple. You'd collect a bunch of idol girls and you
Smart.
would train them, raising their stats through lessons. You would then be able to do a number of things like customize their outfits and even spend money on cosmetics. There would also be many different minigames, including a multiplayer game mode where you can fight other players. The
Of course,
player with the most
PvP?
stats wins. Overall, it was simple, but
I'm curious about this for the people in the YouTube comments as well. What are your general thoughts on PvP in gacha games? For me, it's like, if there is a certain PvP mode in a gacha game where you can disable all monetary benefits, I think it's fine. The second it's like an actual pay to win kind of thing is the second I vow to just not play it at that point, because I just don't enjoy that.
extremely successful.
But if there's two different modes, a pay to win mode and a non-pay to win mode, I'm cool with it. That's
This
fine.
game was earning more than 1 billion yen a month. Back then, that was around $13 million. It was revealed that more than 75% of players who got the game chose to pay for either in-game items or energy in order to play more. And according to this article,
Wow.
in August 2012, the game had made 9 million USD, which is more than the cost of developing the game.
In a month. In 2012, by the way, 9 million USD in 2012.
This game was making more money monthly than it cost to make. And all it did was just feature a bunch of idols that you trained, upped their stats, and got them different outfits. But you see, Bandai Namco is
Wow.
truly taking this franchise to the next level. It started as an arcade game, they made a mobile game, and they also made a manga as well as an anime that adapted that same manga. They were essentially using this franchise to build a media empire, and it was
This is the smart thing to do, right? At the end of the day. It's exactly what a lot of the big successful gacha games have done as well. I think this is a wonderful lesson in marketing and building up building up an empire.
working very damn well. They would continue to hire more developers to create more entries in this franchise, and the most recent release would be in 2024, so it's still doing pretty damn well. This is when Cygames would have some sort of an epiphany. Even though this was owned by Bandai Namco, they were the ones who made this extremely successful game. And I mean, it made sense. Why wouldn't a game like that be a success? The idol industry in Japan is probably one of the biggest, most successful industries in entertainment. It involved finding someone young with talent, absolutely destroying their lives with ridiculously rigid training and extremely unrealistic expectations, and once they get enough popularity, this is when you would milk their fans with a bunch of different media and
Jesus,
merchandise. People will do anything for their idols. They'll literally buy a photo album of them, okay? This is
It is very sad but true. Yeah, it's incredibly sad.
why the idol industry
Sad
is such
reality,
a
man.
money-printing machine. But here's a fun fact for you. When it comes to horse racing in the West, certain jockeys, who are the horse riders, might have fans, sure. The horses that they ride also might have fans, but it wasn't anything crazy. In Japan, on the other hand, the horses had fans, all right. They had their
Wait.
own merch. They were
I fully believe this, bro. This is so funny,
were
though.
recognized by name. Some even had superstitions made around
Haru Urara! I know that name literally just from the fucking game, bro. Oh my
on them.
god.
I mean, this is just a talent Japanese people have to idolize anything they like. And as much as this sounded ridiculous, there was big market potential here. Cygames had made
Gold Ship's my favorite, by the way. I don't care what anybody ever says. Gold Ship is number one.
a very successful idle game, and yet horse racing was a deeply historical aspect of Japanese culture while also having those same idle traits.
Yeah.
You know what else is interesting? When it comes to entertainment, the idle industry is very profitable, sure, but one thing Japanese people love to do is gamble, baby.
Yeah.
A Japanese person not knowing pachinko is like an American not knowing what a burger is.
the amount of times in Japan you walk past somewhere that just looks like a random like fucking arcade and it's like pachinko 18 plus. It's crazy, dude. It is crazy.
At this point, it's practically cultural.
Yup.
I mean, look, it goes without saying that horse racing was very popular in Japan because of the whole gambling aspect of it. And now you can gamble on a simulated horse race. It's not even real. And you
Yep.
place your bets on this spaceship-looking machine, bro. This looks insane. That's how much they love it. And finally, just like how idols and gambling are huge in the entertainment
Do you
industry.
know my issue with stuff like that, bro? Is I always just assume it's rigged. I do. I always assume online shit, if it's not in person, is instantly rigged. That's why I don't do like actual gambling without like, a guaranteed odds and stuff like that. When it comes to that kind of shit, it's like I fully believe the machines are like set to pay out after a certain amount of money's been spent on the machines. 100%. It's a conspiracy theory, and yeah, you can say tinfoil hat, but I fully believe that.
Industry in Japan,
Fully.
we can't forget to talk about anime. And in the early 2000s, many artists were having the amazing idea of giving anime girls cat
Why do you think this was Raftalia at first? It's not, right?
ears
No,
or
it's
just
not.
small animal features. Not to mention that there were already examples in media taking this a step further. Instead of giving them animal features, they would give them features of objects. Like how the game Azur Lane has you collect these hot anime women that are meant to be World War II battleships. I'm not even joking, bro. Look, this woman's called Azuma, and she's part of the large
She's a large cruiser.
cruiser category. She's stationed in the camp Sakura
Oh, God.
Islands. This is meant to be a battleship, bro, like an actual boat. Do you
But
understand?
is your gachas a rig too? Yeah, but here's the thing. Even if they are, there's a guaranteed amount of money you're going to have to spend to get what you want. So you know the worst case scenario. You don't with pachinko and other gambling forms online and in person. You just don't.
And man, does she have some big cannons? Let me
God damn. What the hell, man?
tell you that much. So I don't know who the genius at Cygames was, bro. It could be the CEO, it could be a producer. Someone had the brilliant idea to sit everyone down and say, hey, what if we combined all these elements together, right? For the gambling, we make a gacha game. For the anthropomorphic cat girl part, we make horse girls. And for the idol part, we base them off the most famous horses in Japan, while also making
Incredible.
them sing and dance, because why not?
Yep.
Now, be honest, if you were one of those people listening to this pitch, would you have signed off on this?
No. I'll keep it a buck, no.
Because it obviously sounds ridiculous, right?
It depends on how much money you were putting into the game, but if it was like, if I was betting my life savings that this would become a popular thing, with my knowledge of how popular horse racing was, I wouldn't have done it. With the knowledge, obviously, bro, but I didn't have that knowledge.
Most
so.
people probably wouldn't have.
No.
But Cygames had top-tier drugs in their office because you know what? They said yes. They then wasted no time getting started on developing the game,
Probably horse tranquilizer drugs, right?
revealing it for the first time on the 21st of August 2016 at the Anime Japan Expo. Excitement for this game was actually
Isn't horse tranquilizer ketamine? Or is that something different?
already starting to build up, and that made more people want to know more details about Umamusume. So on January 2017, the main content producer of Cygames, Akihiro Ishihara, was asked a bunch of different questions during an interview, and one of them was, please tell us about the development status. And he said, this game is about 25% complete. Keep that number in mind. But for now, this interview had also revealed many of the horse girl designs, as well as the famous horses they're based on. It seemed like they knew what they were doing. And they had learned their lessons with Bandai Namco. They were going the Idolmaster route, not just aiming to make one good game, they wanted to make a media empire around Umamusume.
Oh, and
so just a couple months after that interview in March 2017, they released a manga. But they weren't done yet because they wanted to adapt this manga into an anime and were going to enlist the studio PA Works to do it. The plan was to release this anime in 2018 in parallel to the game's release. That way, both would help each other, and they would start off with a strong symbiotic.
Yeah, it'd be like wait. Is he going to say exactly what I was just going to say? I would say it's like a good symbiotic relationship.
Media release. That way both would help each other and they would start off with a strong symbiotic media empire. That was the plan, except nothing, and I mean nothing in regards to release dates went according to plan. The Umamusume Pretty Derby anime would release on April 1st, 2018. It was
April Fools!
Wasn't just limited to Japan, it had a simulcast with Crunchyroll in select regions of the world. It was almost an instant success. Similarly to how people love the idea of cat girls, the idea of horse girls was also very well received. But a couple of aspects that it was really praised for were 1, its attention to detail, and 2, its very skilled world building. But we'll get to that later. Right now, there's a more pressing concern going on. As the anime was running, the game would release 3 more teasers on April 19th. It showcased a race, a live show, and a story/training section.
Okay, so that's like 3 of... Oh, shit. That's like 3 of the most important parts of the video game, right?
I can't show you those videos because they've been privated, but overall, it seemed like everything was going according to plan, with the game scheduled to release around the end of 2018. This will be confirmed again on July 2018, with yet another trailer showing off the game and its mechanics, announcing at the end that it was going to release at the end of 2018.
They disabled dislikes? That's kind of crazy.
As people were waiting, wondering when the game was going to come out, Cygames took their sweet time and only announced on December 15th, 2018, literally the end of the year, that Umamusume Pretty Derby has been delayed in order to raise the game's quality, saying that they will reveal the new release period at a later date.
To be fair, this would suck at the time, but this is probably the smartest thing they could have possibly done.
I mean, okay, not a big deal. I mean, it would have been nice if you told us earlier, but one delay doesn't hurt, especially if the game's going to be better for it, right? Well, the game got delayed again in 2019.
Oh, shit.
And the new release date was slated to be in 2020. Now, Cyber Agent is a publicly...
That's a long time to delay, bro.
Listed
a lot of JP devs do that. Yeah, but that's a long delay.
Company. And just like any publicly listed company, they would have shareholder meetings. So in their third quarter shareholder meeting in 2020, they re-emphasized to their investors that Umamusume Pretty Derby was going to be released in 2020, confirming that fact. Just a couple of months earlier, in May 2020, the managing director of Cygames confirmed yet again that Umamusume Pretty Derby was releasing in 2020. But then we got to December 2020 and the game was nowhere to be found. But yet again, in the final shareholder meeting of the year on December 12th, investors will be told that this game is still on track to release in 2020. But there were 2
Wait, really? Did it actually release in 2020?
Weeks left in the year. It was safe to say that after previous delays, people weren't just thinking, oh, this game's going to be delayed again. They were also thinking, is this game ever going to release? How can you say in an interview in the beginning of 2017 that the game's almost 25% done with a 2018 release date, and yet here we are 2 years later,
with
barely able to make the release? Usually this means that the game has no direction, that Cygames is dealing with an internal disaster. And what really reinforced
communication from a lot of gacha game companies will go such a long way. I think that is such a lukewarm take at this point, but I think if games like Urara have shown us anything, it's that even if you fuck up, just communicating about it can really aid the community tension around every issue that there could possibly be.
This narrative is the fact that the game didn't even come out in 2020. We had reached 2021 and the game still had not released yet. It was only on February 24th, 2021 that the game had finally released in Japan.
Okay, and while a little bit longer than people expected, but I mean, well, actually a lot longer if you consider the first release window, but fuck, man.
It was cool that the game had finally come out.
5 years is crazy.
People didn't really know whether to be excited or worried, especially with how Cyberpunk 2077 had released just a couple months earlier, and even...
Oh god, the disaster that was Cyberpunk 2077.
Even though it's been delayed multiple times, had one of the worst launches in history. But you know what? As hard as it was to believe, this was not the case with Umamusume Pretty Derby. People...
Wait, Nintendo Switch? Did it actually come out on Switch? Did they do what Genshin could never?
Were so addicted to the damn thing, they couldn't stop playing. The gameplay loop definitely took inspiration from their work on Idolmaster. Your horses, or horse anime girls, would have 5 different stats that you would train them on. You'd also have many different minigames and many ways to interact with your roster. You would then have your horse, or horse girl, race, competing against others in a bid to win first place.
It's really fun, bro. I didn't download it yet, but Viv used a VPN to download it, and she plays it on a night before bed, and the other night I was like, Gold Chip's my favorite. Can you use her in a race for me? She fucking won the race, bro. Gold Chip. the OG.
These races would make your heart beat like crazy because there was always a chance that one of the horse girls could use a special ability, including your own, like you're seeing right here. You could be losing a race, and then your horse will all by themselves decide to do this in order to win. It just depends on their mood and how you've treated them. One could even say that
which is fucking crazy, bro, but it is fun. It is fun to have that kind of RNG factor for a skill.
this was more exciting than IRL horse racing,
Yep.
thanks to all these factors.
Maybe that's why the game was such a controversial thing, though, because it was more popular than IRL horse racing, so people were more willing to spend on the game than the IRL sport, and for probably the government that was likely a problem, right?
The game wasn't over with just one horse girl. Eventually that horse girl would retire, just like IRL horses, kicking off the inheritance mechanic just like real life. Here's an example. This is the family tree of the very famous horse Goldship. As you can see, this is probably more complex than my own family tree, and I'm a human. It rivals the family tree of like some royalty from the 1600s or something. This is all done with the goal of creating the most genetically engineered monster that can dominate any race. And that's what you kind of do in Umamusume as well. The hard work that you put into your now retired horse girl can now be incorporated into your new horse girl by using her as one of her coaches. So in a way, you also
Excuse me?
become more of a genetic scientist and try to create the perfect horse girl after many different runs.
Wait, Goldship bred over 500 horses? What? Like, wait, like, in terms of, like, the actual horse bred over 500 Wait, I feel like I'm misunderstanding what you're telling me right now. Yes? Yes. Okay, let me reword this. That horse birthed 500 horses? Is that what you're telling me? Or are you lying? Goldship is a stallion. Okay. So Goldship is a male. Not in the game, of course. But, so you're telling me that horse fucked 500 horses to... My man.
This gameplay loop was so addicting, it was like playing a Civilization game. Screaming one more turn as the police is confiscating your phone from you because you haven't eaten in 3 days. People couldn't stop playing it. But as this game became so popular in Japan, it started somewhat suffering from success, you could say. You see, usually, the people who own some of the best racehorses in the world happen to be some very wealthy and successful people. Seeing that Umamusume's characters are based on real-life horses, they had to go and ask each of these owners their permission to have
based. Yeah, I like that they did this as well. It's very respectful. Very cool.
In the game. The owners agreed to do that free of charge, not charging any money. This was seen as a very cool and kind gesture from them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. These weren't just horses. These were...
Speaking of cute and kind gestures, by the way, guys, if you're not already following the Twitch channel or subscribed to the YouTube, you should. We're getting close to 370,000 subs on YouTube and 95,000 followers on Twitch. I appreciate the support, gamers.
Were anime girls that were, in many cases, pretty. And usually when you present Japan with a pretty anime girl, they will instinctively almost want to draw some pretty lewd fan art. That was a problem.
Absolutely.
Cygames knew it was a problem, so they created very specific fan-created content guidelines, outlining rules, saying you can't...
And in the small print, it said the Yakuza will come after you if you fuck this up.
...make fan art with the intent to injure the reputation of this franchise or other third parties. You can't do any lewd stuff. You can't do any violent stuff. The owners of these horses did not want to see their horses participate in anything like that. It was a red line for them. But that didn't necessarily make people want to listen.
True.
Now, of course, usually, if you were to break these rules, Cygames would just send you a takedown notice and sue you if you don't comply. But of course, this would be too boring for a franchise like Umamusume. So some people came up with a rumor that now is regarded as truth in many different circles and has spread like wildfire.
Okay.
If you draw any lewd art of Umamusume girls, the Yakuza will knock on your door and hurt you. Okay, so as far as I can tell, this all started with this stupid tweet. A Japanese person tweeted this out, saying, the reason why Japanese artists can't draw Umamusume porno art is that Umamusume is based on real racehorses and their owners are like mafia bosses who control the Japanese economy and we don't want to offend them. This was
so they didn't even say anything that was actually about the Yakuza. They just said the owners are like mafia bosses.
was tweeted on March 11th, 2020.
So this just got misinterpreted. Funny. It's a tweet. First time that's ever happened.
So very shortly after the game released. Now, I don't know how much attention this initial tweet got, but what really brought attention to this was the second tweet this person would make, saying, please retweet as much as you can for people overseas. It included the original tweet and another image, with that person saying, "The content of the tweet and the image is complete bullshit. It is a falsehood that amounts to defamation of the racehorse owners. I have insulted the owners of racehorses and other people involved in horse racing, as well as the staff of the Umamusume project.
Okay.
Racehorse owners are people who are sincerely committed to the culture of horse racing. They are not involved in antisocial organizations. In addition, I tried to make overseas artists complicit in the prohibition of secondary works that significantly worsen the image of the project, which is clearly stated in the official guidelines. This is all due to my short-sightedness and arrogance. I would like to express my deepest apologies to everyone involved and to all those who have supported me."
Blink twice if the Yakuza are behind you right now. Christ, dude, what the... This screams forced to write, no? Right?
So this apology was definitely overkill to the initial tweet. It was clearly like some kind of a joke, I guess. It was almost like this person had, I don't know, murdered someone. This made people assume that this person got caught by the Yakuza and forced, right, at gunpoint to make this apology, because that's what it sounds like. As you can see here, the top comment is, "So they found you?" And the person said, "No, it's not. It's just that I made the wrong statement." Someone else said, "I'm guessing they gave you a call." To which this person said, No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Someone said, "I'm sorry to hear that the racehorse mafia got to you. Had no idea Japan even had such an intense culture of racehorsing, let alone one run by gangsters."
They don't.
And that person replied with, "Please don't tell us such bullshit."
The same bullshit you were feeding people, brother? What do you mean?
This person was so easy to troll. And this eventually got posted on Reddit, ironically saying, "Turns out old-fashioned Yakuza are alive and well in Japanese horse racing industry. They are sending goons to stop doujin artists from making drawings of Umamusume project characters." All of these events have resulted in this becoming a full-fledged meme. Whatever.
By the way, I want to see something right now, guys. I want to see something. For YouTube, you could just comment with the timestamp, I guess. But for Twitch chat, 1 in the chat if you've played Umamusume, 2 if you haven't and don't want to, and 3 if you want to but haven't yet.
If someone mentions, "Man, I'd love to draw these characters in lewd poses," someone always comes in and comments, "Hey man, you don't want to do that. The Yakuza's gonna get you." And
Well, that is far more ones than I ever expected. Wow.
It's funny, it's gotten a lot of people to actually believe it, especially overseas. But the truth is that Yakuza doesn't own any of the horses, and that gambling is heavily...
Storage could never. Yeah. You're playing it on your phone right now, playing right now, actually. Crazy, bro.
Regulated by the JRA, the
I'm
Japanese
gonna get
Racing
relegated to third
Association.
monitor content,
So
man.
no, if you draw lewd art, the Yakuza aren't going to knock on your door, but you might get a DMCA notice from a lawyer.
Yep.
But regardless, Yakuza hiccups aside, this game was making bank in 2021
dude.
alone.
Bro, I underestimated this game's pull so goddamn much. Every time I saw it on the stream charts, I was like, wow, that's so impressive. That is incredible. Even though the revenue charts aren't exactly the most accurate things in the world, right? But still, even if they're not that accurate, it's like, wow, that is doing really fucking well. Brother, I never ever realized that was only counting mobile revenue, and it was only counting Japan. Like, oh my God, dude! Now it's global. It's gonna be a catastrophe for other gacha games, bro. It's insane. They got a lot to live up to apparently now.
Even though they released 1 month after the year had began in February, they had made over $1 billion. And by March 2025, they had made a total of $2.5 billion since release. This is an
in gross lifetime mobile revenue in Japan, 2.5 billion.
Insane amount of money. But what's even more insane is that 90% or more of its revenue came purely from Japan. Cygames had the Japanese population in its chokehold. And as I mentioned, these weren't just young adults. There would be endless stories of people going on the metro, going to a restaurant, going outside, and seeing someone way older than them or way younger than them playing this game on their phone. It became cultural. But here's the thing. Japan, even though open to the rest of the world, still has a very particular market. Just because something is successful there does not mean in any way that it'll be successful anywhere else, especially when it comes to the topic of gacha games. So when it came to finally launching the game globally on
I am very surprised that this game is doing as well as it is doing globally. I'll keep it a buck, dude. I really didn't think a lot of the like Western gacha players would be interested in a game like this. Honestly, seeing it actually being played and seeing the super fun content creators going over it as well is so refreshing, bro. This game has brought a light into the gacha space that has been needed for a very long time. I'll keep it a buck. I will keep it a buck. It's just fun. It's incredibly fun, and it's weirdly like a sense of innocence, even though it's still predatory as fuck. it's still like, I don't know, it just feels nice to see people just enjoying something that they would never usually enjoy, you know?
June 26, 2025, more than 4 years after launching it in Japan, people didn't really know what to expect. It was reasonable to think that it was going to just die out in a few months, with Japan continuing to be its main revenue source.
True.
Except what it did was inconceivable. It was absolutely dominating the Steam charts. As you saw in the intro,
I am curious how much money it's earned through Steam, specifically here.
The #1 most downloaded game on Steam at some point. Also becoming an
I will break. Okay. Hold on. I have to say my words very carefully here. Allegedly, I will break the law to play this game and get a VPN on my phone and then just hook it up to my PC. Allegedly.
Instant success on mobile. But what's really interesting here is that it managed to recreate exactly what happened to Japan, but globally, which was not having a target demographic, reaching everyone equally. Here's a fun example. Northern Lion is a streamer who's 36 years old. He would not, in any way, be the target demographic of a game like Umamusume Pretty Derby. No way in hell. But his chat kept pestering him, please download the game, give it a shot, for the love of God, you'll love it. And eventually, he gave in.
His streams of the game have been some of the most fun.
Now, Northern Lion is a pretty big streamer.
Yeah.
He'll usually average around 15.
I think he broke his all-time viewership record with Umamusume, no?
1,000 viewers. But when he streamed Umamusume, he had reached his all-time peak of 40,000 live viewers.
I would quite literally shit my pants if I had that many viewers in my stream, unironically, and they weren't bots, bro. I think I would literally have feces like running down my... Okay, that's too much information, but that's terrifying to think about.
And you know what the craziest part is? He absolutely loved it. Okay, he fell in love with the game, the characters, everything.
Well, it's like you gotta like.
He even had Japanese players sing it. Okay,
you gotta like. You see the commentary and stuff. I love the stream that I saw of him do, where it was like he was doing the. One leather away from her is number 4, Vortex Twist. One leather away is Nishino Flower. Oh my god, a leather away is oh, she's ulting. Oh my god, she's ulting. Gold chip coming up the back. Like, it's so fun when people just hella get into it, dude. Yeah, Pete did it. It's so fun. It just adds
he fell in love with
layer,
the game,
dude.
the characters, everything. He even had Japanese players seeing some of the reactions from Western players thinking, wow, we got to up our game because these guys are way more passionate than us. Look at this.
Come on, Gold Ship, put it into high gear. I need all you got right now. The Kentucky Derby's on the line. Come on!
It was, with no exaggeration, taking over the entire internet. And it showed in the stock price of Cyber Agent, the parent company of Cygames, with its stock market price going up like crazy.
Wow. See, you know, for people that actually take the stock market very seriously, they would have been able to see this coming. I bet people made like tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars off of this.
But why is that? How is this game such a success, so highly rated, both in Japan and overseas? We've established that the gameplay loop is fun, sure, but there are a lot of games like that. This isn't just a game.
I hate Gold Chip, such a bitch. Get the fuck out. Get out! Sorry, hold on. Get the fuck out. Right now.
At this point, it's a cultural phenomenon. So what was something that it did that other games weren't even close to achieving? Well, the horses.
Yep.
All right, so remember how I mentioned that this game's anime was praised for having immense attention to detail and world building? Well, the game was very similar in that regard too.
I actually don't know about this. The coolest thing I've seen about the anime so far is actually the animation, believe it or not. The animation on the running and stuff is so good. It actually makes you feel like it's as intense as it looks, dude.
Seeing that all these anime horse girls were based on real-life horses, Cygames did their homework and examined every single horse and its very specific personality, incorporating all these aspects into their anime character. But that's not all. When it comes to the world of Umamusume, many things in there were based on real-life locations, like racetracks and areas around it.
Nice.
We're talking anything from train stations to the convenience store where the horse girls buy their carrots. This wasn't just attention to detail, this was making landmarks.
That's kind of crazy, dude, not gonna cat.
Out of IRL locations and attributing important history to them. Additionally, this world wasn't just made in like one evening. It made sense, and that's because its world building was very well made. Horse girls in this world are seen as a different type of species. They're treated as well as humans, there's no discrimination, and instead they have a real place in this world. With certain gadgets, for example, made specifically for them. Look at this extremely long phone. It's to accommodate her horse ear
Wow, the long face.
and her mouth. I mean, look at this stupid seat right here. It's made specifically for horse girls so that
Wait, that's actually 5-head though. Wait, that's actually super smart.
don't get uncomfortable with their tails. There's even historical landmarks in the anime, like how there are Moai statues on Easter Island with horse girls. They even took famous Japanese horse racing paintings and converted them to accommodate the world. As you can see, these are horse girls racing here. So from a world point of view, this already made sense. The attention to detail was there. And so when it came to the act...
Fun fact, horses don't exist in the Umamusume world. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. They actually exist in our hearts though, so let's not, you know, the horse girls are real. They're real.
Actual personalities of each horse, guys, they couldn't have done a better job.
True.
For example, one of the most famous horses in Japanese racehorsing history is Goldship. This is a horse who ran 28 races and won 13 times. An incredible record. But what really made Goldship famous is that he was an absolute diva with the ridiculously unique and rage-baiting personality.
Wait, so he was a rage bait. Oh my god, he was a fuckboy. Oh my god, dude, Goldship was a fuckboy. 500 females impregnated, and he was a troll? That's insane. Wow. Damn. He was a toxic one.
In 2015, Goldship had a total of 12 billion yen betted on him. People were confident that he would win just like he won his other races. What we got instead was the day known as the 12 billion yen incident.
Wait,
when
what?
he would do this. Watch. He would simply refuse to race. Everyone would go except him. He didn't care. He just didn't feel like it, and so he didn't race, losing people 12 billion yen in bets. Now this is
12 billion yen. Now let me just do some quick math right here. 12 billion yen to USD. 80. Wait. Hold on. Sorry. Did he say 12 billion with a B? Was that billion with a B? If that was 12 billion with a B, that is 81 million United States dollars. There is no
This is how Goldship would look in the game and in general in the Umamusume universe. They would recreate the same incident in the anime series.
Oh my god, dude. Oh no. Oh shit.
And just so you know, they brought back the same exact woman who was casting that day to voice in the anime. Guys, the attention to detail is...
Wow. Wait, that's actually so impressive. No shot. As in the announcer? They brought back the announcer?
Who was casting that day to voice in the anime. Guys, the attention to detail is ridiculous. So seeing that Goldship was an...
Oh my god, I'm moving my cam just so I can show you the abhorrentness of this image. Holy bro, that is cursed as fuck. I'm not gonna cap.
An absolute diva, yet at the same time very skilled, Cygames made sure to incorporate that into Umamusume Pre-Derby. She'd be very skilled, very talented, and yet would have crazy mood swings, refusing to train, and sometimes, even though having the best stats, would just refuse to race, like not giving a single shit. This eccentric personality would so accurately be translated into the game that it would create a new overseas fan club for this IRL horse.
I like the one where she drop kicks the camera. That's my favorite one.
I mean, look at this. This is a video of Goldship in retirement. Literally just hanging out. It has over 2.2 million views. This is just a horse hanging out for 2 minutes, not doing anything except fooling around.
Cute, dude. It's Goldship, though. It's Goldship.
That's how much of a sensation he became because of this game and his history. I mean, look, most people would have just stopped there and moved on to a different topic, but not with me, you won't. Goldship's personality wouldn't just end with him being a diva. He would also be one of the most successful breeders.
Oh god, here we go.
With a successful mating rate of 99.1%, having over 500 children with a...
Wait! 99.1% as in out of the 500 female horses he mated with, like 99.1% of them got pregnant? Bro is the sperm. What?
Few of them becoming absolute champions. In fact, according to some staff, after he would finish mating with a mare, she would then refuse to mate with anyone else but Goldship. That's just just how good he is, man. But I guess it also explains why he enjoyed it so much. He would swing his cucumber from side
I fucking sound like a horse.
to side because of how excited he was, okay? I know this is like a ridiculous amount of detail, but people look into this. That's how obsessed they are with Goldship. This isn't just because he was skilled or a massive diva, he was a rage baiter. Like the whole 12 billion yen incident, but also the fact that his trainers realized that, wait a second, in his retirement, he's running even faster than he used to run back
Mujin, bro, I'm gonna need some fucking bleach after that wasn't called for.
when he was still a racehorse, making them realize that he never used his full potential while being a racehorse, almost as if on purpose to spite his trainers.
Wait, deadass though, question here. Horses don't get, like a lot of animals, don't actually like have sex for pleasure, right? It's just for breeding purposes. I don't think they feel pleasure from it. Or am I crazy? I know there's a lot of animals that don't.
This made people realize that horses aren't just creatures
Brand,
that
please? I'm just asking, bro. It's a scientific question.
we share a special connection with. They also have many unique and diverse personalities. Most people have a hard time seeing that though, because we don't
They
really
can?
interact with horses that much anymore. So turning them into anime horse girls with proper world building around them made us finally appreciate their very deep and valuable personalities. And no one received more appreciation than the horse Haru Urara. You see, when she was young, she would go unsold at an auction. Seeing that no one wanted to buy her, she was entrusted to the cheapest racecourse to run in Japan. Her trainers thought that this would be a good chance for
Is this the horse that won like 0 races?
her to maybe win since she had a hard time training. But then she went on to lose 113 races in a
I heard that apparently, like in the retirement center, they let her win a race. And people can send her gifts now.
row, never winning once. However, when she had lost her 87th race in a row, the race announcer, Koji Hashiguchi, would be absolutely shocked at this statistic. He was like, dude, this like never happens. Most horses would have given up by now. They would have retired. So he sent her racing record to national media outlets thinking, dude, this is insane. Like, you got to talk about this. And
You can send her grass for $50? Bro, I'd send $50 just to take care of her. What fucking grass costs $50? Are you saying like marijuana? The code word for are we sending weed to the horse? What is $50, bro? Jesus.
they did, which made her ridiculously famous. People
For sure.
started going in droves to where she raced, the Kochi racecourse. The wives of the jockeys, the people who rode the horses, took advantage
Ryegrass, like premium grass for horses? Is it really that expensive? Deadass? How long would $50 of grass feed like average horse for? I'm
of
curious.
this and started making merchandise. And get this, at a certain point, people would go to this racecourse just to bet on Haru Urara, knowing very well that they were going to lose, but they would love that because then they'd use that betting ticket as a protective charm for car accidents. They believed that it held special powers, bro. You understand what I'm talking about here?
That's so cute though.
This horse had superstitions made around it. I mean, this was such a big boom that Haru Urara had single-handedly saved the Kochi racecourse from going bankrupt. They were able to pay off all their debts thanks to her. And today, as you can see, Haru Urara is painted on the side here. That's
Cute.
how much of a legend she is.
Hell yeah,
Seeing
man.
that she's in the game of Umamusume Pretty Derby, this prompted both Japanese and global players to select her to try and give her the win that she so very deserved in real life, making her one of the most popular characters in the game.
Amazing.
This renewed attention from the global audience with their love for Haru Urara eventually allowed them to find out that they can send gifts to her in her retirement because she's
Yeah.
still alive.
Okay,
they
tell
could
us
send
about
her
the
some
grass.
premium ryegrass directly. They sent 2.7 tons of ryegrass. Usually one person could buy $40 worth, which is 5 kilograms. But people crashed the donation website, and now we're sitting at 2.7 tons. This is an image of this little cutie receiving her gifts, and it's prompted people to draw fan art of this phenomenon. I mean,
Are they okay with this? Like, are the stables okay with that amount of ryegrass? Holy fuck, bro.
look at how much ryegrass is in front of her. She has enough food until the end times.
They love it? Amazing. I'm sending more.
2.7 tons, you're insane! In fact, thanks to this game and its renewed attention on these horses and their accomplishments, many of them who are now in retirement
God.
are receiving many donations, able to fully enjoy their older years. This is because this game didn't just make a lot of money and renew interest in horse racing, but it has single-handedly revitalized the entire horse racing industry.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. Hey, supporting these gacha games can do some good stuff. But if I had to choose, you know, hey, Hoyoverse is doing some nuclear generator stuff or feed the horses. Listen, call me selfish, bro. I'd probably feed the horses. The ryegrass.
Globally, specifically in Japan. In the world of horse racing, sometimes, unfortunately, racehorses are not able to retire. This can happen for a number of reasons, but usually it's because there's not enough funding. Back when
I'm sorry.
Able to retire. This can happen.
Horse meat sashimi. Did bro actually eat this? Huh?
For a number of reasons, but usually it's because there's not enough funding. Back when this game released in Japan, it fueled a movement of people donating to many of these famous retired horses, ensuring that they not only live a good life, but
you know, people eat horse meat, right? I have always been under the impression that horse meat is a bad thing and killing horses for meat is a bad thing. And that is because, and I'll be totally honest here, guys, because I know a lot of animals are killed for food. The reason is, in the UK, when I was a kid, one of the famous supermarkets, I think it was Tesco's, actually got in trouble for selling horse meat when it wasn't disclosed that it was horse meat. It was like beef burger, but it was actually horse meat. And people were unknowingly eating horses, and they had no idea. It was a really bad thing, and ever since then, it was kind of drilled into me that killing horses for food is a bad thing to do. Costco, no, Tesco. But yeah, when was this? It was a very long time ago. You can probably just Google the Tesco horse meat incident, and it will probably come up.
That they can continue to live.
Was it good? I don't fucking know, bro. It probably tasted no different than beef, to be fair. I didn't eat it.
In general,
I don't think.
Retirement isn't fun if you just have money. It's also nice when you meet people, when you still interact socially. Many of these retired racehorses started receiving visitors, so much so that Umamusume had to release an official guideline on how to visit stables and what to do in order to be respectful. For famous horses such as Haru, Urara, or Goldship, visits sell out immediately as soon as they're posted. This has led some crazy, ridiculous fans to sneak onto the stable grounds sometimes just to see the horses.
Don't do that. Never do that. That is not only disrespectful, but also incredibly fucking dangerous. Horses, bro? Listen. As cute as you might find them, and they are cute, although some of them might look ugly if you look up close, they're still very adorable animals. They're so cute. Bro, horses, incredibly dangerous. One kick, you will be gone from this world. Horses are strong animals, way stronger than they look sometimes. Don't fuck with horses.
Cygames completely denouncing that and saying you shouldn't do that. Stop. But that wasn't all. Cygames was making a lot of money from this game, and they understood that there's a mutual benefit here. If horse racing thrives, they thrive too. And so the president of cyber agents, Susumu Fujita, has become a high roller when it comes to buying expensive horses and raising them for races. Always being one of the leading buyers when it comes to horse auctions in Japan. So far, he has spent easily over $10 million making up his own fleet of racehorses, and he's not planning on stopping anytime soon.
Jesus.
But this isn't just about Japan. This is about
Bro's gonna make Umamusume too.
Horse racing globally. In May of this year, they had announced a partnership with the 151st Kentucky Derby, the most watched and most attended horse race in the United States.
It's also kind of funny that these people are going to Gold Ship specifically to like sneak into the grounds and go and say hi to Gold Ship. You know, the horse girl or horse that is famous for drop kicking the camera.
Taking place since the year 1875. And you had this anime girl horse racing game being their biggest sponsor. This also extends to Paris. As you saw in the intro, they're not just sponsoring the Grand Prix de Paris, but they're the main sponsor. And I mean, look, if you show me an image of horse racing, I probably would think, oh, cool. But if I was a young person and saw
you see horse girl racing,
a poster like this, I think, whoa, whatever this is, I want this. Where can I get tickets? It's an extremely mutually beneficial part.
Can you imagine how disappointed you'd be? Bro, can you imagine how fucking disappointed you'd be? You see this poster, you're like, oh my god, I gotta go to the Grand Prix de Paris to see these horse girls. And then you fucking line up, you sit down, it's real horses with dudes on the back, you're like, you fucking me, bro. I paid for this shit.
Partnership. Additionally, racehorsing merchandise has had a boom in Japan ever since the game had come out, truly turning this into an animal idol industry. These dolls, for example.
And you go, merde.
They sell out like crazy. It's actually very hard to get them, especially if you're outside of Asia. Actually, I think they're keychains, but you get the point. Side Games was essentially making a lot of money from this, but they were using it for good things, making this industry a better place, helping treat retired horses even better, and in general being a positive force in the community. This reminds me how at some point Hoyoverse, the
Oh my god, not pre-watch, but I did just talk about this. This is the nuclear generator, right?
creators of Genshin Impact had invested in a nuclear fusion reactor, and in 2024 it became operational. Who would have thought that you spending money on characters in a gacha game was going to end up somehow in a nuclear fusion reactor in Singapore?
Dude.
Overall, this industry is revived. It's back. Audiences now feature women, young people, middle-aged people,
horses.
Demographics that horse racing usually wouldn't be able to reach.
Has anyone ever posted like a... Bro, has anybody ever posted like an image of a horse playing Umamusume? Because I feel like that would be the most accurate thing, right? Going from like people watching horses race to horses watching horse girls race.
This has already been happening in Japan, and I'm sure it'll start happening globally thanks to this game.
True.
I can't help but laugh when I say this, but it's true. This anime girl horse racing gacha game has somehow been able to single-handedly revive this entire sport while somehow making the world a better place. It's crazy.
It is. It's beautiful.
Where we are today.
Beautiful
I hope
thing.
I was able to explain why this game took over the world and why it's continuing to. And I really appreciate you watching until the end. This is a fairly different video from what I usually do on my channel, but hey, I figured it would be fun. Now, the sponsor does want me to end this video with a message. So before I'll do that, I'll thank you again, say that I love you, and mwah, see you next time.
What a legend.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for watching. Anyway, tanks and shit. Never give up! Amazing. I love Mujin videos. If you're still watching towards the end, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I think the last Mujin video we watched, we got like 1,000 subscribers from it or something. That's probably a bull-faced lie, probably about 500, but still a crazy amount. So thank you all for subbing, and make sure you go sub to Mujin as well.